If the planet is sick, humanity is sick, and the other way around. Climate is obviously a global issue, and the Paris Peace Forum is devoted to trying and find better solutions than the ones we have for global solutions. Hence, the creation of this Climate Overshoot Commission, which the Paris Peace Forum created and which I've had and still have the privilege to chair. So we've been looking at the whole picture, and our recommendations are around cutting emissions, adaptation, carbon removal, and even opening this sensitive box of geoengineering. We have to work on these 4 areas simultaneously in order to address what we believe is the number one international issue, which is climate warming. Now, we know that unfortunately, we will overshoot the 1.5 degree, which was the Paris Agreement threshold 10 years ago. The question is, once we've done that, do we keep making things worse, or do we go back to a situation where the Earth's temperature could be reduced by normal recipes, such as stopping emissions, by removing what's up there, and there's a lot up there, or even in looking at more risky geoengineering solutions. This is the issue number 1, and we all know that for the moment we are late. We are failing, contrary to what we said we would do. We are failing to address properly this. This is a collective issue. If I reduce my emissions and you don't reduce your emissions, it won't work. The Paris Peace Forum is trying to address a number of these purpose-led coalitions, whether it's about, for instance, phasing out fossil fuel in a differentiated way between North and South, which should be done, or whether it's in looking at geoengineering solutions, although this is a last resort measure. Our view at the Paris Peace Forum is also that there is a connection between environmental degradation, but also biodiversity destruction, which is a major issue, both on land and on the ocean, which is 70% of the surface of the planet. So we are of the view that environmental issues and geopolitical and geoeconomic issues cannot be separated. We agree with this concept of One Health. If the planet is sick, humanity is sick, and the other way around. So we believe that, for instance, there is a huge potential for more north-south polarization about climate. We already have quite a lot of that. A number of countries in the south believe the north is not behaving the way it should, but there is a reality in climate, which is that the north did the carbon dioxide emissions in the atmosphere and stratosphere, and that the south is the main victim. So this asymmetry is, if we don't care, a recipe for more tensions, more fragmentation, more conflict, and we have to address this. And the Climate Overshoot Commission made a series of recommendations. I composed it on purpose with a majority of people from the South. Our proposals are geared to try and bridge, or if possible, avoid new North-South potential, which we see coming, not least, for instance, in issues like the finance of the ecological transition for a number of developing countries. So, no doubt, you cannot separate climate issues, environmental issues, the way they are going, which is negative, and what's happening on this planet, which, to be frank, is a very serious, worrying degradation of any sort of world order. Europe, the European Union sees itself as a leader in climate action. And the reality is that the politics within European countries is greener than in other continents. We have taken a number of commitments in order, for instance, to decarb our economy by 2050 with a signpost in 2030. So, the EU is, let's say, credible and serious in moving greener and more ocean-friendly. This being said, like other countries, we are bumping into a series of economic and social issues. The transition to a zero-carbon world and to a more biodiversity-friendly world is a complex one. We, in Europe, are, in a way, the lab for that. And we have to succeed. This lab needs to succeed. On top of that, we, of course, have to try and influence the rest of the world in this direction. This is not easy, not least because we may, in some occasions, take pro-climate and biodiversity measures that are seen by other countries, notably developing countries with whom we trade, like a sort of new green or blue protectionism. And we have to work hard into convincing these countries that this is not protectionism, this is environmental precautionism. And on the other side, we probably also have to re-gear, readjust our technical assistance and development assistance systems in order to facilitate, to increase the capacity of developing countries to trade with us on better green or blue terms. So we have a domestic agenda. We also need a correspondent international agenda, and notably in working between EU and major emerging countries who are the real big shots in this international business of becoming greener, bluer, and more biodiversity friendly. I personally believe that if we stick to the priority of making this planet more environmental friendly, which is not a question of more or less, it's a question of life and death. It's an existential question. Then a lot of the other problems which this world has will be easier to solve. And I see, for instance, the environmental pessimism of many of the young generations. I believe this needs to change for this world to be less conflictual, less fragmented, and more peaceful.